Revenge films.
I gave birth the same year as my sister-in-law, Karen. It was the first 2 grandchildren that my in-laws had, and they were both girls, and we lived nearby. And after they were born, my mother-in-law, Rose, completely changed. We had a good relationship until then, but she started only caring about Karen. She would treat me like a slave, saying that Karen was having a hard time. I tried telling Rose that I was in the exact same situation as Karen, but Rose didn't listen. If I ever tried to refuse anything, she wouldn't even treat me like a human being. Rose would come over often to see her granddaughter and take diapers and other baby goods without permission and bring them to Karen. When she would find baby milk that I prepared in advance for my baby, "Oh, perfect. This will help Karen save some time," she would take that too. As if that wasn't bad enough, she would take the clothes that my parents sent for their granddaughter and comfortable room wear for me and bring that to Karen as well. I voiced my concerns to my husband, Brian, and he was angry. We complained to Rose together, but she didn't seem sorry at all. "Oh my, I'm so sorry. Cut me some slack here. I'm just worried about Karen. Emma's fine, right?" Her apologies were insincere, and I could tell by the attitude that she didn't feel bad at all. Then, Karen started showing up and leaving her daughter at our house, saying that she wanted time alone with her husband. When we refused, somehow Rose would find out. "Karen needs time to relax. How do you plan to take responsibility if our marriage doesn't work out?" She would yell at me and make me do all of her housework while she was out with her husband for dinner and even prepare their breakfast for the next morning too. Brian told me that I didn't have to go, so I didn't do that, but I love children and I felt bad for my niece, so I did watch her from time to time. But Karen and Rose kept taking advantage of my love for my niece, and I was about to explode. But I had a better idea. I continued to watch over my niece, Amanda, for over 10 years. Thankfully, she was such a nice and brilliant girl, and got along well with my daughter. They fought now and then, but that's how little girls are. I changed her diapers, helped her prepare for preschool, sewed her PE clothes for her when she got into elementary school, prepared her lunches, and drove her to and from after-school activities. Karen was happy that I did all of this for her. She just kept forcing things on me so she could have an easy time. I went shopping for clothes with my daughter and Amanda and did her hair for her. When she was old enough to start liking boys, I listened to her and gave her advice. As Amanda hit puberty, there were so many changes in her body that confused her, but I taught her everything I knew and poured my heart into raising her as my own. As you'd expect, Amanda loved me wholeheartedly too. Brian looked after his niece as well. Karen was always prioritizing herself, so he loved Amanda and scolded her just like her own daughter. We even brought Amanda with us on our family vacations. She was in every family photo we took, but she was already family to us. Since we fed and bought things for Amanda, Karen spent all of her money on herself. She was excited that her daughter wasn't costing her any money. And she spent all the free time she had hanging out with her friends. As a result, Amanda showed me respect and stopped listening to Karen altogether. Amanda got great grades and was very cute, so Karen would try to show her off, but Amanda didn't listen to her at all. I would see Karen yelling at Amanda, but she couldn't get through to her. But when I would scold her, she would straighten up as if she was being yelled by her own mother. By the time Karen realized what was going on, Amanda was treating her like a stranger. Karen was Amanda's mother, but didn't know the first thing about her. She had no idea what Amanda liked to eat, when her new teeth grew in, or about her periods. But I knew everything. Amanda was such a respectable young woman, but Karen and Rose were disappointed that she didn't want anything to do with them. One day, when Amanda was relaxing at my house as usual, Rose, Karen, and her husband came over suddenly. "You brainwashed my daughter! Give her back to me!" Karen started complaining about the situation. "Well, it was Emma that raised me. I've never even eaten your food, Mom," Amanda told them. Karen's husband was shocked to hear this. He was a busy man and barely spent any time at home. Karen took advantage of the situation and was doing as she pleased behind his back. But all the while, she was telling her husband that she was being a perfect mother and didn't even mention how I was involved at all. She kept it hidden from him all this time. He was shocked to find out that I had bought Amanda her bags for preschool and elementary school and had paid for her school uniforms as well. They got in a heated argument after that. Karen tried to say that it was my selfish decision, but her husband didn't buy it. She wanted all the credit, now that Amanda had grown into such a capable young girl and was trying so hard with Rose to get Amanda back, but it was way too late for amends. Rose did love my daughter equally, and Karen did love Amanda like someone would love their pet cat. But neither of them actually raised her or took care of her. They just praised her and played with her when they felt like it. Karen would kiss up to Amanda when she would take her out to show her off. But that just made Amanda hate her even more. We never cared how smart or beautiful Amanda was. She was family to us, and that's all that mattered. So, Amanda had never argued with her mother, let alone have a proper conversation with her. But I would scold Amanda just like my own daughter if she ever did anything wrong. We were both girls, so we did have fights now and then, but each fight just strengthened our bond. I guess kids love the person who makes them their food. I told Karen and Rose that it wasn't too late to take care of Amanda, but they didn't want to start caring for her as an adolescent. So they just planned to wait until Amanda grows up to reconnect with her. It sounded stupid that they would think that they could reconnect if Amanda was older. But Amanda was uninterested in them already, so whatever. Amanda ended up going to a private high school with a dormitory and became independent after she graduated. Karen and Rose haven't been able to reconnect with her to this day. I received a call from Amanda the other day. She told me how she found a job and is living a happy life now. After we small talked for a while, Amanda's voice became serious. "There's something important I need to tell you." I asked her what it was, and she told me that she was planning on getting married to the guy that she was currently dating, and that she wanted me to meet her fiancé. I was surprised to hear that, and I double-checked if I was the one fit for that role. "Well, I don't know what everyone else thinks, but to me, you're my mother, Emma." I gripped my phone tightly as tears ran down my cheeks. Later, Amanda stopped by with her fiancé and introduced him to me and Brian. "This is my mom and dad." We were surprised at the introduction, but it seemed like the fiancé had heard about Amanda's situation from her. They held a wonderful wedding, but I never saw Karen or Rose there. After the wedding was over, they found out about it and came rushing over to my house. "Why weren't we invited to my own daughter's wedding? I am her mother, and this is her grandmother!" That just made me snap, and I went off on them. "You call yourself a mother? Tell me the last time you did something motherly for her. When I agreed to take care of her when she was a baby, you just took advantage of me and selfishly went out and did whatever you wanted. Is that what a mother does? I was the one that raised Amanda. And you, Rose, Amanda was watching you bullying me and only caring about Karen the entire time." They didn't have the words to argue back. "Amanda isn't a doll or a pet that you guys can just brag about when you feel like it. Someone had to care for her to become a respectable adult, and it was me and Brian that did that." They knew that they were in the wrong, so they left without even trying to argue back. Karen's husband was fed up with her as well and ended up filing for divorce. Amanda and I still keep in touch. Karen was all alone now, but looking back on what she did, it serves her right. I raised Amanda as my own, and I think of her as my daughter now. That will never change.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.